Hi, Sean. It was nice to meet you. We're going to go ahead and start this interview off. Can you please tell me about a little bit about your background, how you got started in the real estate industry?
Okay, well, initially I went to college and I studied business administration. I had a desire for finance in real estate and sales.
Hmm.
So as I graduated college, I started searching for employment in those areas. I was offered a job as a wholesale mortgage originator. So that was a great experience in that I was in a position to originate mortgages, basically underwrite them, and help the company I was working for make lending decisions on them. So I got a great perspective of from a lender on how they evaluate the risk on a mortgage loan based on the value of property and the borrower's ability to repay. And it showed me really a good understanding of how the mortgage market, how the real estate market works with loans and financing.
Hmm.
And from there, I chose to open my own mortgage company and went through a process of growing that company into about 100 employees. And we obtained lines of credit, originated mortgages, sold them to Wall Street, and built up the business. Then from that, I went through the financial crisis in 2008,
Hmm.
which was a very challenging time where the mortgage market pretty much came to a halt.
Hmm.
So I had to reinvent myself at that point because what I had done for the prior 20 years pretty much came to a screeching halt. So I looked at what was available in the marketplace, and that was dealing with distressed transactions. So I shifted my focus from mortgage into real estate acquisition, renovation, and resale because that's what the market lends itself to.
Hmm.
And then as time has gone on, I've played in that arena in different aspects because the real estate industry is interesting because it's impacted by the economy quite a bit. And as
Hmm.
we've seen in this recent economic times, we've had inflation. The Fed has been raising rates, and real estate industry is pretty much on the front lines of that. So as rates go up, then it creates a big it slows down. And the real estate industry is one of the first industries to be impacted by the Fed decisions.
Hmm.
So that's been my background is from mortgage into mortgage banking into real estate investment.
All right. Can you tell me about a little bit about what a typical day for a real estate agent looks like, and specific tasks and activities that take up a significant portion of your time?
Okay, uh, I wouldn't call my position a real estate agent. I would refer to as real estate investment firm.
All right.
And what we do is daily is analyze the transactions that are occurring in the marketplace. So in this current market, we've kind of shifted our focus to be a little bit more conservative and be focused in a tighter market um, a market area. But we'll track and daily see. Well, first of all, I have like performance indicators, key performance indicators, KPIs,
Hmm.
which I've identified as that those indicators, if I perform those from a daily, weekly, monthly basis, those activities are going to lead me into to reach my goals. So I break them down from from a monthly basis down to a weekly, down to a daily basis. So I'll start my day by assessing what transactions came on the market. I'll have a pipeline of current transactions that are in different stages of origination and acquisition or development and resale, and I'll manage that pipeline through of how I can mature it and get each transaction further through the pipeline. But I'll have a goal for the week, and for example, one goal would be to say I need to write 3 offers on a new transaction each week. So to write 3 offers, I have to assess what's on the market and identify the properties that would match our buy criteria, and then write a pro forma on each one and determine a market and offer price. And so I'll manage my day so that by the end of the week, I have 3 offers written.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can get very specific on that if you want, but on a bigger perspective, that's how I approach the day.
All right, that makes sense. What do you find to be the most challenging aspects of being a real estate agent? And on the flip side, what are the most rewarding aspects of your job?
Okay, well, as a real estate investor, not as an
Investor
agent,
side.
the challenging aspects are the competitiveness in the marketplace. Okay, so transactions, there's a lot of investors that are chasing the opportunities, and in this current market situation today, the inventory is very low. So because there's smaller amount of opportunities, it's enhanced the competition. So that's one aspect, is the competitiveness on it. Secondly, there's risk, because there's a lot of unknowns in the marketplace. You've got to be careful and very detailed on how you estimate the exit price on a deal. So we will work back. If our goal was to purchase, renovate, and resell a transaction, we work back and say, okay, the resale price is going to be X, the renovation is Y, the carry is Z, and that leads us to the acquisition price. So we have to have very sound numbers, or else we'll acquire a property, and if we're off any of our data or estimates, we'll lose money.
Mm-hmm.
So there's in a fluid marketplace, those numbers can change. So you've got to be very detailed in your assessment of all of those items. And so between the competitiveness, sometimes the competitiveness drives you to be a little bit more aggressive on your numbers, on your pro forma, and that could lead to problems. So I would say that's the challenges.
All right. As a real estate investor, how do you stay informed about current market trends and changes in the real estate industry? And are there any specific resources or strategies that you find valuable?
Well, there's a number of ways I try to, and this is very important. I try to be very, very close to the market,
Mm-hmm.
because if the market is trending down and I don't anticipate that, then I will lose money.
Mm-hmm.
So I will do everything from listening to a lot of financial news. I watch CNBC quite a bit to understand what's going on in the overall economy, and then specifically what's going on, what's the forecast for interest rates. As I mentioned, in this specific environment right now, we've been on a Fed tightening cycle. So the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to slow the economy to combat the inflation. And that, as I mentioned earlier, that has a big impact on real estate. So I'll stay very close to all the news that's coming out, all the financial news, and I like CNBC personally because they'll have several shows throughout the day, but they'll interview a lot of the key players that are involved in the marketplace in New York and Wall Street and such. So I'll get good information there. There are also industry, a lot of industry information that comes through the brokerage that I work with. They'll circulate data, and then I'll just pay attention to any information coming through the marketplace that I'm seeing on specific transactions. So I'll actually watch if we make an offer on something and we don't get it. I'll keep that data and track the maturity of that property and see, okay, we offered $1 million on it. It was actually sold and we weren't at the high bid, and it sold for $1.1 million. And I'll just keep all my information and then track the actual performance of that deal. And if it ends up selling, where I said I was going to buy it for $1 million, put 300,000 into it and sell it for $1.7 million, and I didn't get it. And then I watch that deal, and 7 months later, I see it on the market and it sells for $1.6 million. And I say, I like how I did my numbers. I'm fine with that choice. If I see it and I track that data and I see it sold for $1.8 million, say, I was a little conservative. I didn't buy that because I pegged the exit at $1.7 million, and it actually sold at $1.8 million. Why didn't I, I was a little bit more conservative. So, and this is getting back to the point, it's competitive. So I don't have the luxury of working with very comfortable numbers and very, very safe numbers. I have to be right on the edge. I can't be too aggressive and I can't be too conservative. So, but what the question was, what information am I doing to what was the actual question again? I'm sorry.
It was how you stay informed about current market trends and changes in the real estate industry.
Okay. So yeah,
and the strategies that you find valuable.
So I stay, as mentioned, through news media, CNBC, through market information coming from like industry meetings, and then my own data of just tracking transactions and seeing actuals. I'll compare my estimates to actual performance, and then be close to that data because I can start to see it trending down, trending up, or what have you, and I put it all together. But and what's challenging is there's a lot of different opinions, and you start to find people who have got a track record of being more accurate, but I got to take it all and blend it together and make my own call on it, because at the end of the day, it's my money, and I got no one else to I can't rely on somebody else. I've got to make the call.
One thing we've been learning about in our college is about the importance of networking and creating strong relationships within your actual area of work. Can you tell me, how do you go about building and maintaining strong relationships with clients? And are there any specific strategies that help you do that?
Yeah. So In the key performance indicators I mentioned earlier about my daily activities, right? So part of that was I said I managed. I'll look at the transactions that came on the market, but I'll also another key performance indicator is to reach out to 5 people each day and make contact, right? So what has been a key strategy is how I manage that communication. It needs to be consistent. It needs to be very reliable, right? So if I say I'm going to do something, I've got to do it. If I say I'm going to call you back next week and to discuss this, I have to call you. I need to call you back next week, and it needs to be over a long term, right? So there's a lot of people that come in and out of the marketplace, and they start out with a lot of energy and they do a lot of the activities, and then they just fizzle out. And so there's a little bit of a look to say, okay, somebody comes in and tries to make a new relationship with somebody, but if it's not maintained over a long period of time, people kind of initially, before they give you your business and kind of really solidify a relationship, it's usually on a transaction, first of all. So, but the transaction may not happen for a while. But if you don't stay and maintain consistency on your efforts to build a relationship, you will never likely get to the transaction, and then you won't, there will never be a relationship. So you can have some initial communications and you're desiring a relationship, but unless you do what you say and you consistently follow up, and then when the opportunity arises, you're there and you're responsive, and then you've got to perform well. So there needs to be a very significant effort put to it. If it's just very random, inconsistent, short term, it doesn't work.
So. Well, thank you, Sean. That will be all the questions for today. I'm currently running out of time on Zoom, but thank you for taking time out of your day to answer these questions and do this interview. It was a pleasure meeting you.
You're welcome, and I'm sorry if my answers are longer than you anticipated.
No, they were perfect.
Okay. You have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.